lovers. It is GSwiz here, and I'm here today to talk about my final TBR of 2020. December 2020 is among us. Oh my goodness, when I think about it, a year ago I was planning to move out of home. Then I did move out of home, and then I came back because everybody in the world was becoming sick. Yeah, it's a good excuse not to pay rent. I'm gonna be talking about some books that I am planning to read by the end of the year, and this being said, I'm not really going to pressure myself. The reason why is because according to my Goodreads profile, I've already read 168 books as I am filming this video right now. Wow. Bravo, GSwiz. So I'm not saying to myself I need to finish all of these books. In fact, there aren't really too many books on this TBR, considering that yes, I still work a full-time job, but also I have to consider I am taking a little bit of time off this month. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to my vacay, or really I'm gonna be doing a staycation in the same state where I live, just at a fancy hotel because it's hot, so it'd be cool to sleep in a room where there's air conditioning. Haha. Yeah, I pretty much summed it up. Without further ado, I'm gonna get into the books that I really want to read before the year ends. So I firstly want to talk about a book that I do not physically have as of yet. I do own it, as technically it is on its way to my house right now, but I do also have the audiobook. And that, my friends, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Victoria Schwab. The reason why I've been putting this book off for so long is not because it is a very thick book, or I only just was able to afford a physical copy, or I was only just able to buy a physical copy because all bookstores literally went out of stock of this specific book, or at least the edition that I wanted of the book. And I could mention all of those, but I think the main reason why I wanted to put this book off for a little bit is because I wanted to hear everybody else's opinion about it first before I went into it. And that was a good thing. And the reason why that was a good thing is because this book is one of the most polarized books I've seen around social media as of recently. I think that it is good to go into this book knowing that it is not liked by everyone. I think that's actually what is gonna help me enjoy it even more. That's why I tend to look at reviews before going into books. A lot of my favorite books this year have been really polarized. For example, Bone Crier's Moon, very polarized. Princess Will Save You, polarized. Star Daughter, very polarized. I'm literally mentioning every single Charlie Bowater cover. But you know, a lot of books that I've really loved this year have been really polarized. And so my point here is I'm happy that I put it off, and I actually wanted to save it for this time of year. I'm hoping that I have the physical copy soon. If not, that's fine. I have the audiobook and I will listen to the audiobook. Now I'm gonna mention some manga. So I at least want to catch up to The Promised Neverland. I'm holding volume 1 up because I'm pretty sure you guys know that when it comes to the manga that I own a bunch of the volumes of, I tend to stack them. So like the latest volumes are at the very bottom, but I'm pretty sure I have volumes 12 to 17 left of The Promised Neverland, and I want to see if I can get through as much as I possibly can of it before the end of the year. I have nothing else to say here. It is what it is. Another one that I do have to mention though that I didn't actually set aside for this video is Estar's volume 9. That volume is technically published, and every single time I go to Kinokuniya, it is not there. I've been going to Kinokuniya every single business day of this week in the middle of my lunch break, and it's just not there. Anyway, so I'm like very scared that I'm not going to be able to read Beastars volume 9 by the end of the year, and I just need Beastars. I also want to read Orange volume 2, the complete collection. I'm pretty sure majority of this bind up is orange, but I heard from a few readers that at the end of this bind up there are like a few extras that are not related to orange. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it doesn't really cover the story as a whole, but I just want to get through orange. I want to finish the story, and I'm just preparing myself for all the tears, the influx of tears that I will have while I finish orange, and hopefully I finish it with the end of the year. And speaking of finishing a manga series, look, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to finish it, but I'm going to try and finish as much as I can of Neon Genesis Evangelion. If you guys didn't know, I'm halfway through this bind up now. Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of my favorite animes of all time, but I heard that it has a different ending to the manga because the original anime was animated and released literally around 20 years before the written ending of Neon Genesis Evangelion was published. So that has me very, very curious. I'm very much looking forward to reading this series and finding out what happens at the very end. But yeah, I'm technically halfway through it now, and I'm enjoying it, but I don't know if I'm prepared for a new ending when the actual original anime ending was painful enough as it is. Okay, now we're getting back to books. Actually, I'm gonna be talking about an audiobook here, and the reason why I am listening to this one on audiobook is because Camilla is actually currently reading the physical copy of it, and this is actually going to be a reread for me. The reason why I want to do a reread for this book in particular and another book that I'm going to mention is because I'm going to be doing my favorite books of 2020 video, and I want to confirm its spot on the list, because as much as these books were amazing to me, I just want to be fully certain of these next two books ranking. So the next book I'm going to mention is Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. This book is one of the best Haruki Murakami books I've ever read, and I really enjoyed it. And you know what? I was talking to Camilo about it yesterday because he's started it and he's just telling me about all the weird things that happen in it, and he just doesn't know how to like fully pinpoint what things actually mean. And that's the cool thing about Haruki Murakami's books. I think that Haruki Murakami's books also need to be reread. I don't think I've ever reread a Haruki Murakami book. And so Kafka on the Shore kind of proves to me that it just kind of does need to be reread. I really do want to reread it. And so I think December is the perfect month where I'm going to reread it, and I'm going to listen to it on audiobook. Even though the audiobook is like super long, I'm gonna do it. I'm really excited for it. And going along with that is another favorite book of mine of this year, and I really just want to reread it because once again, I want to know where it ranks personally, because I've read a lot of amazing books this year. In fact, it's actually rare that I read a very disappointing book this year. You know, there were some really good ones, and House of Earth and Blood was included in that. I really do want to reread House of Earth and Blood because I know it ranks high. I just don't know where exactly it ranks. Kafka on the Shore, House of Earth and Blood, these two books I want to reread before the year ends. And if I get through those very thick books, I do want to read From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is also a fantasy romance. Everybody's been raving about this. In fact, it got Goodreads Choice Award nominated for romance. Out of like the contemporary romance novels, this ended up being in that list, and I really wanted to vote for it, but I couldn't. You know why? Because I haven't read it, and I'm not one of those weirdos who votes for a book that they haven't read. The second last book that I bring up on my TBR today, book lovers, will be We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. Now, I'm so excited to finally be in on the We Hunt the Flame hype train. That rhymes! Also, We Free the Stars is coming out in January, and so in the lead up to We Free the Stars, I want to read We Hunt the Flame. It just makes sense so that I can technically do a binge read. And the final book that I plan to read this year, or at least, you know what, I might read the one book or I might read both books, who knows, is gonna be something that's very quick. Still, something to really sink my teeth into. And that, my friends, is Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, which is the first book in the Sixth World trilogy. I've wanted to read this one for a very long time, and I finally received a physical copy of it with the cover design that I actually wanted from my booktube friend Paige from Pages with Paige. I'm happy that I finally have it, and I'm forever grateful to them for sending it my way. And as I mentioned, if I do end up getting to it this year and I have a little bit of spare time besides all these books that I just mentioned, then yeah, Storm of Locusts will probably also be on my TBR, but if it's not, then all cool, like I don't mind. But I would love both of them to be read by the end of the year, and I feel like now that I have some sort of determination within me to read them, I want to get them done soon. But if I don't, it's all G. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. I'm at gswizzelbooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. I love you, book lovers. Have a happy holiday season, and I'll see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.